Hey, I don't want to make a very long video, but I've been keeping quiet for a while on politics and my opinion on, basically the geopolitical situation since the last presidential election, and major trends that have emerged in the past couple of years with regard to automation and artificial intelligence and robotics, and kind of where do we go from here sort of um, questioning process. Uh, and anyway, all I really want to put forth right now is that if we're talking about the rules that govern our lives, which is basically what politics is just what are the rules of the game that we're all playing in this human world. If we're talking about those rules, one thing is increasingly apparent, which is that if if we look at it from a standpoint of game theory, if we look at the current human situation globally, politically, economically, as a game, then there are more and more losers in proportion to the winners. When people talk about wealth inequality, it just means the winners are winning bigger, and there are fewer winners and more losers. And I think that's really awesome, actually, because our systems have been really messed up for a long time. People have been repressed for a long time. Minorities all over the world, in the U.S. in particular, have been repressed, haven't had opportunity, and no people haven't really questioned it. At least, I mean, obviously, and when I say people, I mean people in power. Um, you know, and now increasingly, even white people in the U.S. who historically have been, significantly better off than anybody else, they're even starting to question things because they can see like, oh, our incomes are falling, or we can't buy a house, and whatever. I mean, you look at the wages that people are being paid nowadays in the U.S. and around the Western world, and they're not able to buy a house or afford a new car or these benchmarks of like doing okay. And that's because the rules of the game are no longer really benefiting them enough um, to sustain a sort of even pseudo American dream type of lifestyle. So, anyway, without going totally, on a huge tangent, I just think it's really cool that we're at this point now where people are really ready to question, like, what are the rules of the game that we're playing? What game or games are we playing? What is capitalism? What is a welfare state, or what is universal basic income, and how do all these things fit together? Um, and what are all these different ways that we can organize ourselves and our workplaces and our local governments and state governments and federal and international governing bodies? And you know, as of right now, if we don't make major changes to the rules of the game that we're playing, um, things are going to get worse and worse, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But I'm not that interested in seeing it get horrible, so I'll just leave it at that. It's time to start questioning the rules um, of the game we're playing, and I'm curious, what do you think the rules are, and how, and what new rules would you be interested in, and what would the objective of a new game look like? For me, I just started reading this really long book um, by Buckminster Fuller, and I'm not sure if I'll finish it, but it's called Synergetics, and it's sort of his like magnum opus about what he sees as the future of humanity, or the optimal future. And I tend to agree with his vision, which is basically how do we create abundance for everybody? How do we go beyond um, you know the lines drawn around countries that separate them, and how do we have prosperity for all humans? I think that's a great game to play, a collaborative, cooperative game of maximizing human potential and enjoyment of life on planet Earth. But I'm curious about what other games exist that people are interested in playing. All I know is that it seems like more and more people are dissatisfied with the current game, and it seems like there's an opportunity to rewrite some rules. And I think I'll start making more videos about ways that people are remaking those rules, or that people, or ways that they could remake those rules that maybe they haven't thought of yet, or that only a small number of people have thought of. But I think as interest in changing the rules, questioning the rules first, and then changing them grows, the conversation will become more and more exciting. And this is just the beginning, really. So, we have to remember humans, we've gone through a lot of phases in history. We're going to go through a lot more phases of development. And when the collective we, as human beings, really want something to happen, when we really want a change to happen, we're pretty good at effecting that change. And I'm not concerned about whether change is going to happen or not. I'm more concerned about, is it going to happen in a peaceful way? Is it going to happen in a way that benefits the largest number of people? Because change is coming, and it's up to us. It's up to us what that change, how it's going to play out. So yeah, let me know what you think. And like I said, I'm just kind of taking to the internet now to vent the thoughts that are going on in my head, and I'll probably continue to do so. But I'm curious to hear people's feedback as well. All right, signing off. Peace.